station. You can also watch Good Things. We are on your computer or your mobile device. Just head on over to supertalktv.com, and you may want to head to your community theater. I know a lot have a lot of spooky things going on this weekend. And joining us today is Tom Booth. He is with the Tupelo Community Theatre, which is celebrating its 110th birthday for their theater, The Lyric, and they've got a lot of spooky things going on. So, hey, Tom.
Hello, Rebecca. I think we need to get you on stage sometimes.
Oh, that's a scary thought, Tom. That's definitely a scary thought. If you've got the radio up, will you turn it down in your wherever you're at?
I'm sorry. It's probably my Bluetooth. Let me get rid of that. Hold on.
You know, I'm one of those that don't like to hear myself. A lot of people who sing or even get on stage or even do something that way, they're like, I'm so happy you enjoy my voice. But for me, I prefer not to hear it, but that's okay. Well, Tom, this is exciting. I know you guys have got a lot of shows that are going to, or plays, should you say, that's going to be taking stage there at your theater, which The Lyric, I can't believe, is 110 years old.
110 years old, and isn't technology great?
Until it's not, right?
Fine now.
Yes, we're doing good, Tom. So just let me know. So, okay, so let's start off. Tell us a background about the Tupelo Community Theatre.
Sure. Tupelo Community Theatre itself was formed in 1969. There had been a strong theater program with a high school group here, and they were bringing in adults to play in productions and doing big productions, but there was no local theater. So 16 brave souls stepped out and formed the theater, and of course, like many theaters, they were just a little gypsy troupe traveling around, finding space wherever they could go for about 7 or 8 years, and then eventually they found an old church building and converted it into a theater space, and were there for several years. And then in 1984, the Lyric became available, and it was built for live theater. It had been doing movies for 50 years, but what an opportunity for a group like TCT. And although it was a big step as far as financially to step out and purchase at that time with their small group, due to great leadership and strong community support, they were able to purchase it.
Now, you told me that it could be haunted. Is it a haunted theater?
Have you not read about Antoine yet?
No, I was waiting for you to share with us here on Good Things.
Well, if your listeners are interested, I encourage them to go to the internet and just Google Lyric or Tupelo Ghost, Antoine. Antoine has been our ghost here. I've been involved in the theater for 30 years and worked here for 20 years. But when I first came here, I kept hearing about Antoine. So I started asking questions. No one seems to know exactly where his name came from. He's like Casper. He's a friendly ghost. He never does anything evil. And some people think that maybe he was a spirit left over from the 1936 tornado. That tornado in Tupelo was the 5th most deadly tornado in American history, killing over 200 people. And because the hospital was damaged, the Lyric was used as a hospital and a morgue. And so those people were brought here. And many people think Antoine may be a leftover spirit from there.
So how does Antoine come out or present himself? I like that he's Casper the Friendly Ghost. I feel like I could rock with that. I think I could hang with Antoine a little bit. But is it lights flickering? Do you get to see him? Like share what are some of the stories around Antoine?
I always say I believe, but I don't believe. Mm-hmm. I believe in I'm a Christian, so I believe in another world, another place, and spirits. And I'll just tell you my first experience with him. This was probably 15 years ago. We'd have a great evening event here, a murder mystery dinner theater, and it's 10:30 or 11 o'clock. We're winding up, and we left the theater. We closed the doors and left. And then I remembered something that I needed. And so I came back in and I opened the door. And when I opened the door, I can only describe what I heard is singing and laughter. And, of course, I said, very funny guys, because at any given time, multiple people have keys to the theater because someone's directing a show or working on something. So I go all the way through the theater, upstairs, downstairs, out the stage door, walk around the theater, no cars here, no people inside. And do you know what I did? I got my keys and went home.
As anybody would do.
Absolutely. But, my box office manager and I were sitting here a couple of years ago in the middle of the day, and we hear a horrible crash. And we're like, what in the world? Something's collapsed. And she and I both got up and searched the building, and we've still not found anything. So keys disappear, get moved. Of course, anything that happens at the theater, poor Antoine gets blamed with it.
Well, I can see that, and I think everywhere should have an Antoine just to blame some of those, unexplainable things on. But it also just adds character to your venue there, and it creates a story, and it adds a little bit of history to those that are going to come and partake in some of your productions. And I know you've got several coming up. And before we get to those, though, I want to talk about the significance of community theater in our communities here in Mississippi, because one thing that I've recognized here on Good Things, Tom, is that we have a lot of these smaller community theaters in every nook and cranny in our state. And there are people who are never going to see their names necessarily on big screens, but yet they're dedicated, they're volunteers, and it's a place of refuge. So why are they so vital to our communities?
Well, number one, it makes the community. It's another place for people to find. I had no background in theater whatsoever as a child. I think I played a rabbit in a play in elementary school. I barely remember that. And then when I was a senior in high school, my best friend asked me to try out for a play at our show at our high school, and I didn't get a part in the play. But when I was a young adult, another friend encouraged me to go audition for it, and I'm just afraid that many people don't know what we have to offer. And we really are the training ground. We have people that have come through Tupelo Community Theatre. They've gone on to success, wherever that success might be, whether it's New York or L.A. or in regional theater or as educators. But our job is to introduce people to theater. We think every child should learn about sports and music and theater and, of course, all the things they learn in school, but they should have the opportunity to explore what theater is all about. And it is a welcoming place. It's an equalizer. It's a place where you can have a lot of money, or you didn't even have enough money to put gas in your car to get to rehearsal, and you're all the same there. And many times people don't even know those kind of things about each other. So it's our arts community in Tupelo is so significant, and it really makes Tupelo part of what it is today.
Do y'all have classes or camps, or how do you sort of usher in the new generation for children in the arts?
Yeah, as far as children, we do a couple of things. Every summer, we do a summer youth theater production. That's been going on for about 40 years now. That is a full theater production. Like last summer, we did Matilda, which was on Broadway a few years ago. It's a youth version, though, so it's simplified, the music's simpler. And normally that would be for kids anywhere from second or third grade through high school. And so they come and audition, and like any show, sometimes people don't get cast. But also in the summer, we offer a theater camp. That is a one-week camp. The younger students come in the morning, the older ones in the afternoon, and then on Friday, each one of them get to put on a short play that's been written by our director, and they learn it. They learn about theater. They learn about movement, blocking, projecting, getting your voice out there where people can hear you. And for that is a paid camp, but we do offer scholarships for that. And unfortunately, we never have as many scholarships taken up as we want. So, again, we want to educate our community to what's available here. Although the Lyric has been here for 110 years and we've been around for 53 years, there's still many people that don't know what we do.
Tom, one of the best things I ever heard was a parent say, my child just sparkled and I didn't know where to put her, so I put her on a stage, and she's now, a great actress and doing good things. Tom, stick with us because I know you got to get to your productions, and we've got more to talk about with the Tupelo Community Theatre coming up next. We're continuing our conversation with Tom Booth. He is with the Tupelo Community Theatre, who is celebrating their 110th birthday for their theater called The Lyric. And Tom, did Rhino get 2 thumbs up for the music for bringing us in?
Listen, I was just thinking that. Did he select the music? Because whoever did was amazing.
Well, look, all of that goes to Rhino. Anything music, production around good things and all the things that goes to him, and he's pretty on point. And which leads in directly to what y'all have coming up there at the theater. So share what's coming up at the end of the month.
So we actually have 2 theater spaces. We're very fortunate. 9 years ago, about this time, we started a little 100-seat black box in the community called TCT Off Broadway. It's only about 6 or 8 blocks from the theater, but it is literally, if people don't know what a black box is, it is a storefront converted. It has a few risers in it, but not really a stage. No curtains. It has 7 theatrical lights and a small soundboard. And we started producing shows there that don't work as well in a 477-seat theater like what we have at the Lyric. So one of the things we've done through the years, many, many years, is to bring in the movie, the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which people seem to love, one of the 70s classics. Just FYI, the first time I ever saw Rocky Horror was at the DeVille Theater in Jackson, Mississippi for a midnight showing in a time long, long ago.
I was say you're dating yourself there, Tom.
I'm okay. I've dated myself for years. But it's a classic. People especially think about it for this time of year. Many people don't know that it was a theater production first. It's a musical. I was fortunate enough to see it on Broadway a few years ago. And but what we do with the movie is we present the movie as it is, but we cast what we call shadow actors to play all the roles, and they interject along as the show goes along. Also, everybody that buys a ticket gets to have a little bag with all the props that you need to participate in Rocky Horror. And if you've never been, there are all kind of fun things that you get in there, so you're part of the film.
Well, that sounds like a good time. I know that's coming up actually on the 31st, so Halloween, which is a Monday this year. What time?
Even because it's Monday, we decided to go ahead and have it. We're going a little bit earlier because we know people want to get out and get ready for the next day. So doors will open at 6, show time's at 7. You'll be out before 9. It'll be a great fun time. And again, only 100 tickets being sold, and those tickets are selling fast. They're $25 each, and no one under 21. It is R-rated.
Which I was supposed to say, you did have a disclaimer on that one. It's not one for the kids. It's one for the grown-ups to go and sort of enjoy and reminisce, I guess, on probably their childhood, but because they probably watched it when they were a teenager.
And of course, it's very tame today in today's standards, of course, but it was pretty out there in the 70s.
So you've got something else coming up too that's a little bit creepier, should I say, in a different way.
We're very excited to bring back this year our 15th haunted theater here at the Lyric. This year it's called Sensory Overload, and I have not been through it live yet, but I just walked through it in the last 30 minutes, and I was a little creeped out just with all the lights on and everything. So it's going to be every kind of experience you can imagine as you walk through it, all different scenes. And for people who don't know, this is not a play. You do not come in and go into the auditorium and sit down and watch. It's like a haunted house in the sense that you get to go through a lot of the theater, and there are lots of little areas with lots of little scenes in there. And I will say historically it has received rave reviews, and it's a huge event here in North Mississippi. And we weren't able to do it the last 2 years, so we're glad to bring it back this year.
Someone did mention, Dan in Hattiesburg, are props allowed like they were in DeVille back in the day, talking about the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I just want to reiterate, you said you will get a bag of props. You don't have to bring your own, correct?
Right, that's right. That's part of your $25. You'll get a bag of props with everything you need in there.
So the haunted house sort of experience, when does it start? Does it run longer than just one night? Is it already up and going, Tom?
It is not. We actually open a week from tonight. the 20th, 21st, and 22nd, and then a week later, 27th, 28th, 29th. We are not doing it on Monday night because of it being Monday night, but and we also have another show that's cast and waiting on to get on the stage, so we have to strike this haunted theater very quickly and get moving to the next show. But it starts at 7, and it's sort of like going to Disney World. You come, you queue up in line, you pay for your ticket, and then you go through. At that time, you go through. If it's just a couple of you, you'll probably be paired with maybe 4 to 6 other people, and you go through in groups. And again, it's very scary. We do not recommend it for small children, but that's up to the parent. As I've said in previous interviews, I've seen 45-year-old men get so scared they ask to leave in the middle of it. And I've seen 6-year-olds walk through it and go, that's nothing. So you know what you can take and what scares you, and we welcome everyone. We do recommend that if they're 12 or under, of course, a parent be with them.
Do they get to touch, or is it gory, or is it just the sensory overload? I need to be prepared.
Yeah, we are non-touch, so the actors would not be touching them or grabbing them or anything like that. But sometimes people get in a hurry and they kind of rush, and so you might accidentally bump into an actor, but nobody's going to be reaching up from the floor and grabbing your foot. There probably is a lot of jumping out and changing in lights and those kind of things. And there's a lot of small spaces that you have to go through to get to another larger space. So it's every experience you can imagine.
So if we're not interested in that for just heart palpitation reasons or other sort of things, Tom, you said you have to break down to get ready for another production. So looking past Halloween, what's coming up at the Tupelo Community Theatre?
Much like the stores you go into, all the Christmas stuff is already happening. We have a production this year. It's a little non-traditional Christmas production for us. It's called Christmas Bells, and it's a Southern comedy. And the playwrights have done several in the series about the same family. We did one a few years ago with these same characters called Dearly Beloved, about a wedding. And this, of course, ties in all the Christmas elements that you would expect from Southern people, but also, which is very appropriate for Tupelo, there's a little Elvis thrown in there too. So if you like Southern comedy, or if you just like to laugh, I think this will be a great one for you. And that is the second weekend in December. And of course, we have quite a few other shows this year that we'll be casting for in the very near future.
And Tom, remind us too, Good Things is airing across all 82 counties here in Mississippi. And like I mentioned, there are community theaters nestled in all over that we may know about and never been to, or just never knew was in our area. What would you say to those just to get out and support their community theater in their area?
Well, let me give them a good resource. Especially if they don't know, if they're somewhere they don't know. We're a very large theater, so we serve an area like an hour 15 drive from here, not only with patrons coming to see shows, but with actors coming there, because there aren't big theaters in every community. But if they don't know where to look, I'm a past president of the Mississippi Theater Association. That is a great organization in the state, and all they've got to do is Google Mississippi Theater Association. That'll pop right up. They can send an inquiry, and I actually think there's a list of all the community theaters in the state on there. Now, that organization serves all theater professional, high school, theater for youth, all the divisions. But, people say to me all the time, gosh, I want to come be in a show. And my answer is always the same. You will never be in a show till you come audition. You must show up. And you know what? If you're concerned about that and you don't know what's going on, just come and watch an audition one night. Different people cast every show, so it's not cliquish. When I showed up here 30 years ago, I was not from Tupelo. I wasn't working in Tupelo. I knew no one at the theater, and I knew immediately that it was a welcoming organization.
All theaters are usually very welcoming to all people and different types or whatever it may be, you can find a friend in there because you got to be a little crazy to want to get on stage.
Yeah.
But Tom, where do we go to get our tickets for the Rocky Horror Picture Shows or for the Haunted House?
Yeah, the best way to take care of that is just to call the theater at 844-1935. If they can't remember that, again, they can Google Tupelo Community Theatre, and we're on all the social medias as well. Right now, you can't buy any of our tickets online. That's going to be happening real soon in the future, but they can just give us a call. Or, of course, we're here Monday through Friday, 9 till 3 if they want to come by the box office.
Well, Tom, I appreciate your time, and you guys stick with us. We got more for you up next.